I want to welcome Assistant Secretary John Trasvina for the Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity. Welcome you again here to our most livable city in our state and also our capital. We're glad and we're here and we're glad to recognize this important relationship between HUD, Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Office and the Department of Human Rights and Equal Economic Opportunity. This is announcing a natural relationship that should occur in terms of us combating discrimination in its many forms and as it manifests itself in housing. With this relationship, we're going to be able to collaborate and coordinate our resources together to, in effect, make us more effective both as a federal agency and a local partner with a federal agency in terms of combating discrimination. What this does do on a practical level, it gives us the resources to not only receive complaints, investigate complaints of discrimination, but it also gives us, in effect, and also to mitigate those that are found not legitimate. It also gives us, and more importantly, the ability to do prevention. With this relationships, we will have additional resources to do outreach to our residents, but more importantly, outreach to our property owners, to our business owners, to our landlords, to inform them of the Fair Housing Act and their responsibility under that. With the support that's going to come along with this relationship, we expect to be able to do a better and greater job in terms of combating discrimination in housing. This relationship is going to, in effect, connect with our other federal relationship. We have a relationship with the EEOC in terms of employment discrimination that similarly we're about the business of prevention and enforcement, but it once again will give us the ability to outreach and educate our constituents. With that, I want to again welcome the Secretary, Assistant Secretary, along with our local Office Director, Jamie Petrasa. Jamie. Also our Regional Director for Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity, Gordon Patterson. He's coming out of Chicago, Gordon. And we're going to go right to it. So I want to introduce Mayor Christopher B. Coleman.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is good to be here to further kind of establish and foster our relationship with HUD, both the national and the local offices and regional offices, because I think that the work that we've done in the city of St. Paul over these last few years has been, I think, particularly aggressive in terms of making sure that there is economic opportunity for all, there's fair housing for all, that every member of our community has the same rights and opportunities as every other member of our community. And the work has been hard to change patterns, to really open up doors of opportunity for folks is not always easy. But what we see when we have a persistent plan of attack, that when we work at it very hard, when we bring in all layers of government, whether it be from the Housing and Equal Economic Opportunity Department or the Planning and Economic Development Department, the City Attorney's Office, directly involving our Deputy Mayor and others, we can get this job done and we can make progress. We've seen that on the Section 3 work that we've done, where we have not only exceeded, but far exceeded the goals that we set out to achieve in terms of creating opportunity for low-income residents of our city. And I think that the work here on the fair housing is going to be particularly important. And this partnership with HUD, I think, is going to be really far-reaching. Because when you you can have all the good intentions in the world, but if you don't have resources to carry out those good intentions, then we really are lacking, and frequently, we use the excuse, boy, we'd love to do things, but we just don't have the ability to do that. What we're saying here today, what this partnership represents, is a no excuses approach. We're going to work very hard with HUD, with our local resources and our national resources, and simply say, you know what, we're going to do everything that we can. We can't always eliminate discrimination in housing, but we can aggressively go after it and do everything that is within our powers to help ultimately eliminate, or as close as possible, what I think is just one of the most fundamental aspects of discrimination that there could possibly be. If you don't have equal economic opportunity in housing, then all those other things that flow from that become very, very difficult, whether it's educational opportunities for your children, employment opportunities for the adults, or just simply a quality of life that those of us in the city of St. Paul have come to expect and take for granted. So we appreciate the partnership. We appreciate that the Assistant Secretary Trasvina is here today, Jamie Pedraza and others, as Readus outlined. I want to thank particularly Readus for his work. He stepped into the shoes of Luis Frias and has done always a good job. I think this is your second stint as interim. He's our permanent interim director right now, and we greatly appreciate that. Mr. Assistant Secretary, we thank you so much for being here, and at this time, I'd love to have you come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you, and it's an honor, really, to be your Assistant Secretary. I'm appreciative that it's a little bit warmer than the last time I was here a year ago, March, when we had a press conference at one of the parking lots to kick off an important program on Section 3, and I'm pleased to see that we've had some good progress on Section 3. Readus, of course, has laid the general framework of this partnership, and it is a partnership between the federal government and this city to make sure that we are united against housing discrimination based on race, religion, national origin, color, gender. Families with children are protected, as well as people with disabilities. But also setting the national context. This is one where, frankly, it's long overdue. And for whatever reason, our predecessors, both in my office and in your office, hadn't come up with this viable, specific partnership. And now, of course, we in fair housing are indebted to Senator Mondale. Senator Mondale carried the Fair Housing Act through the United States Senate back in those very difficult and terrible days in April of 1968, in the aftermath of Dr. King's assassination, when you had a situation where President Johnson looked to leaders around the country, mayors, faith leaders, African-American leaders, and others, and looking for something that would bring the nation together and would bring the nation forward. And of course, it was the Fair Housing Act, and the Congress had long been dormant and had not acted, filibuster after filibuster, inaction in the House and Senate. It took the assassination to really bring people to terms in terms of what we needed to do, and it was fair housing. The notion that people should be able to live where they choose to live without regard to race, religion, national origin, and color back at that time. Later on, the law was expanded. So this partnership is, as Readus explained, it is a partnership on fair housing. We have 61 localities in 38 states who have this partnership with HUD. And it is that we come to the table with some real dollars. About $120,000 will go to the city as capacity building to help as you begin to take on fair housing complaints. And then, of course, there will be the reimbursement in the same way that the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has on the complaints that come forward. So we are proud of this partnership. And what it means not only is that the people here in this city of St. Paul can go to a local office and have someone who understands the neighborhoods and understands the context in which cases are brought, also have the ability, the familiarity of dealing with the local agency. But beyond that, it is something that really strikes to the core of this nation, which is government needing to working together and to being responsive to the average needs of individuals. Oftentimes, these situations come up, and it's a matter of power and authority. And those who violate the Fair Housing Act often have no clue that individuals Perhaps they're not aware that they're breaking law. Sometimes they know that they are. But one of the things that they don't anticipate is that an individual person, maybe of modest means, maybe a newcomer to our country, can pick up the phone and reach a government office, and that government office will answer the phone, and that government office will have somebody on board who has the expertise in this particular law, and that through this process we can get some equality and justice. It would be terrible if the end of the story for a family who had to thinking they're moving to another part of town or thinking of moving into town, that the family has to tell their child, well, we didn't get that house after all. And maybe the child won't figure it out right away, but they will inevitably. Maybe it'll be 6 months, maybe it'll be a couple of years, maybe as an adult, they'll know that the reason they were not able to go into that house is because of their religion or their race or their national origin or the like. And if that's the end of the story, then we have failed in our job in upholding our oaths. Instead, through this partnership, we're making it possible for that end of the story to be that, yes, my family was discriminated against, but that was not the end of the story. The end of the story is that someone in government listened, someone in government acted, and they were able to live, and increasingly the importance of housing, to be able to live near quality schools, to be able to live in integrated communities, live near a place that has fresh vegetables in a grocery store. So these are all the type of things that fair housing unlocks, and the futures for children and for all families. So we are very pleased and proud to have this partnership today with you. We've made some progress on Section 3, and we will continue to make progress. So this is one where our local office is going to be eager to work with you, and certainly at headquarters in Washington, D.C., certainly have an open door to make sure that this process works. As I said, we've made progress and under Section 3, and Luz Frias was instrumental in making that happen. Of course, she's now going on to bigger and better things. On our side, we're losing Jamie Pedraza. Jamie has been our district director for many, many years. She's decided to retire at the end of this month. We're very unhappy to lose her. But we as institutions, this partnership is not with, I am signing it on behalf of HUD, and the mayor is signing it on behalf of the city. But this is going to be one that will continue on into the future. Administration to administration, office to office, it's going to be one where we share a united commitment to end housing discrimination in this community and ultimately throughout the country. So I thank you, Mayor, for your leadership, and we've had a great working relationship with your staff, and we will continue at it. And I want to thank everyone who's been involved in making this possible today.
At this point, I mean, we're going to close it out. I do want to say that it was a long effort, and it was very intentional. The process that we took on in terms of developing our substantially equivalent agreement with HUD. Their staff was working with us diligently. We changed local ordinances. Our commission moved forward on their changes that had to be made, and our legislative structure, our local city council members also moved forward and assisted in terms of moving this agreement forward. And to kind of close this out, I understand that the Assistant Secretary and the local staff brought some cases over with them today from Minneapolis, so we're going to start right away. So with that, I want to thank everyone who has been here. I also want to recognize Billy Collins is here from the St. Paul YWCA. Billy Collins is the executive director of the YWCA, but also was very instrumental in our CDL program that the Assistant Secretary and the Mayor mentioned, also in terms of preparing people for work in the trucking industry. And I wanted to throw out Bill Collins. So with that, we'll go on into business.